Let's go, baby.
Off the turn, they're 3 wide.
Battle for the lead as Hickok gets out of shape.
Bottom, shot, 3 wide.
He takes the lead back. Dynamite Racing. Welcome everyone to Stafford Speedway. You couldn't ask for better weather as we prepare for the final event of the season, the 50th running of the NAPA Fall Final. So we're going to start our pit preview with the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series, and Kyle standing by with one of our contenders.
Bonza able to catch up with a driver that picked up his first win on the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series earlier this season at the Seekonk Speedway. Also a former winner here at the Stafford Speedway in an SK Light, Matt Swanson. And Matt, first off, what are you expecting today on a much warmer day than everybody had anticipated a month ago when this race was postponed?
Yeah, normally, I mean, when we come here for the fall final, the racetrack kind of seems to trend towards the top when it gets colder here at Stafford. You've seen it more in recent years, but with the weather being this nice, I don't really know what to expect. So I think we're going to kind of approach it like it's an open 80 in the middle of the summer and adapt from there.
Talked about how you have had success here at this racetrack before and on this tour this season. How special would it be for you to pick up a win here at Stafford, here in the Monaco Modifieds?
It would be amazing. This is a place that I feel like myself and this 25 team have kind of had a monkey on our backs for a while. But we've been, this is the track we put the most work in to try and be better, and hopefully we're up front today.
How do you think the track will change throughout the course of the day? Practice here this morning, then the heat races, and then the main event here late this afternoon.
I think it all depends on the weather pattern today. Like, it was really cold this morning when we woke up, and it's getting warm here pretty quick. So I'm curious to see around 5 o'clock when race time's supposed to be, if it cools off or stays a little bit warmer, and that'll determine what the track does. So should be interesting. I think it's going to be a normal fall Friday night kind of deal here today. But you never know with 40 open tour type modifieds on the racetrack what it's going to do. So we're ready for it, and we're looking forward to it.
Good luck out there.
Thank you.
That's Matt Swanson looking for his second Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series win of the season. Bonds is able to catch up with another driver looking for his second win of the season, but his first here at Stafford.
Kyle, a driver that snuck into the podium in the fall final last year is Jake Johnson. He finished second in this race 1 year ago. And you've had a pretty solid season this year in the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series. But let's talk about Stafford first. How much have you learned about this track in your one start last year? Well, you had a couple open starts as well.
It's a lot to learn here. This isn't your typical racetrack. There's definitely a method to getting around people here. You can have a better car than a lot of guys, but it doesn't mean you can get by them. So there's a lot to learn as a driver, but I'm getting more comfortable with it, especially off of last year. I feel like we got a good notebook and we got a lot of momentum going into today's event.
Now, you've always been fast on the smaller tracks, the bull rings, the third miles. How different is it on a half mile or one of the bigger tracks that you race on?
Well, I like it. You get a little more time to think about what you're doing. You get to go down the straightaway and, kind of set up the guy in front of you. You got a little more time to think, breathe, and it almost feels that even though you're going probably a lot faster, it almost feels a little slower in your head, like you have more time to think about things. Until it goes wrong, then you can see that's faster.
Now, the spring scissor didn't go great, had an engine issue, but what did you learn from that brief run that you could translate to today with the warmer weather?
Well, we got to try a lot of different things with setup at the Sizzler, and I think today we got to regroup and kind of, take what we got for those notes and the fall final and adapt for today's event. I think we're going to have a really strong piece.
Well, have fun today.
Thank you.
That's Jake Johnson looking to do one spot better compared to last year's fall final, which would take him to victory lane. We're going to stay in the Monaco Modified pits, though, and Kyle's with another driver that has a chance to do well today.
Bonza with a driver coming into Stafford with a little bit of momentum on his side after a runner-up finish just a couple of nights ago at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl, talking about Stephen Kopsic. And Stephen, first off, do you believe in momentum heading into your home racetrack here at Stafford?
Yeah, definitely believe in momentum. It was good to run good last week, and I don't see why we can't do it again. We definitely put our time into it, and my car owner, Tom Wannick, gives us everything we need. So, everything's there now. We just got to see what we can do.
What should we expect out there today? NAPA Fall Final with 80-degree temperatures and bright sunshine, something that we're not used to this time of year.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day out. I don't know, I think we're in for a good race. There's a lot of good cars here, as there always is on the Tri-Track Series, and just happy to be a part of it.
Talk about the competition that this series delivers. There's a lot of it here today. How hard is it going to be to, first off, qualify well and then keep that car at the front of the field for 80 laps?
I think qualifying is everything. As far as competition, I mean, Hirschman's got plenty of momentum. Silk's got plenty of momentum. Even Cipriano, Woody, there's a lot of good guys here, and if we can run amongst them, then we're going to have a good day.
Good luck out there today.
Thank you.
That is Stephen Kopsic coming off a second place finish last week at Waterford, a 17-time winner here at Stafford, looking to pick up a Monaco Modified win here later this afternoon. Let's head over to the SK Modified pits and hear from one of those drivers, Bonza.
Kyle, Mikey Flynn had a great run going a couple weeks ago in a different car for that 24 team, but it ended not in the way you were hoping for. You had a top 5, Mikey, in the SK 40 lapper. You had an accident in the TC 13, but it's a different car. So why don't you tell us more about this car and how it came together?
So I can't thank Keith Rocco enough over at KRR Race Cars. He put this opportunity together for us. It's been a few weeks in the works, but finally got it going, and happy to see the results from last week. We showed a lot of speed. Like you said, didn't end the way we wanted to, but we're just happy that we showed speed, and we're ready to go for this week.
You had such a good first half to the year, but you've been kind of slumping a bit in the results. Some bad luck, just some unfortunate incidents or mechanical problems, handling problems. How did the car act a couple weeks ago, and how can you build on it for today?
The first half of the race was perfect. I mean, we didn't need that caution in the middle there. Just got a little bit loose after that. We just got to work on the end of the race, those last few laps, and I think we'll be right there. We got a piece to contend, so I'm really happy.
You also got an open modified today, so you're pulling double duty. So what are you expecting with the open modified, which is also a Keith Rocco car?
Well, we have 41 cars here, which is just awesome. The competition is great. We've ran a couple of Monaco Tri-Track races this year, and we're pretty successful, so we're looking to build off that momentum and come here. It's a home track for us, so we're going to see what we can do.
How tough is qualifying going to be?
It's going to be really tough. I mean, you want to make it through that heat race. You don't want to be in the Conti. So, you're going to have to scratch, claw, and fight just for those spots for 8 laps to get in the feature in the heat race.
Have fun today.
Thank you. You guys too.
Oh, we most certainly will. That's Mikey Flynn going for double duty today, trying to make the Monaco Modified NAPA Fall Final and possibly get his first SK Modified win. Now we're going to go to the same side of the pits, but a few stalls down, where Kyle Rickey's standing by with a new SK Modified driver for today.
Monzo, we've been able to see a lot of firsts from Meg Fuller here at the Stafford Motor Speedway over the years. Her first street stock win, her first SK Light Modified start, her first SK Light win just a couple of months ago. And today, another big step in your career, an SK Modified. You practiced it a couple of weeks ago. How did that practice go now 6 weeks back?
The practice definitely went very well, probably a lot better than we expected, but I'm glad to have the team that I do behind me, because I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for them.
That team, of course, is Keith Rocco Racing. Why the move? Why now?
So since we won a race, we obviously can't do the invitational race, so we figured why not to hop into an SK and see if we like it or not and see where it might take us.
Talked about the SK Light Modified Invitational for non-winners from this season, and that makes Meg ineligible. The SK Modified, what did you learn behind the wheel alone on the racetrack a couple of weeks back compared to what you're used to in an SK Light?
I definitely learned how important throttle control is, and how much the car really relies on you beating on the throttle, which is not the same as SK Lights, because you can kind of walk into it and still be very competitive. So I think that was one of the biggest things I learned. And also, heating up the tires, it's a lot different from SK Lights because there's a lot more motor behind it.
Goals for today?
To finish the race with the car in one piece.
There you go. Best of luck to you out there.
Thank you.
That's Meg Fuller making her SK Modified debut here later this afternoon at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Let's go to the other side of the pits now and hear from one of those drivers in the SK Light Invitational looking for her first win at the racetrack.
Kyle, one of the drivers to keep an eye on in the SK Light Modified Invitational is the 09 of Cassandra Cole, who had her best year yet this season, finishing top 10 in points. What's the optimism like heading into today's race, Cassandra? How do you feel about a good run, maybe even a win?
I'm hoping to actually get a win here. I've been wanting to do that for a while now, and having a top 10 in points really boost my confidence. So hopefully we'll have a good run today, but more importantly, I'm excited to have my brother racing against me today. He's been helping me out since 2014. He's never missed a race. He's helped every time on my car, so I'm excited to see how he does. Hopefully he does good. He's going to be in Tyler's car, and I hope he enjoys it.
So let's talk about that for a moment. How did that come together, and how did Carson get the chance to race today?
Yeah, well, he's been wanting to get in a car for a while. He's been racing go-karts, and this was the perfect opportunity since Tyler won a race this year and wasn't able to drive his car, and he wants to race a couple races next year, and hopefully if he gets some sponsors, he'll be able to do that. But we figured the last race of the year would be a good time for him to get some seat time and learn a little bit.
What have you been teaching him, or what are you going to teach him ahead of this race, or do you want to have the advantage over him?
Hopefully I have the advantage, but I mean, it's his first time. He's never even driven a full-size car, so honestly, I think he'll do good. He's really good. He's watched a lot of races. He's really into racing, and I think he'll have a good run.
Well, you and Carson have fun today.
Thank you.
That's Cassandra Cole, one of two Coles competing in today's 20-lap SK Light Modified Invitational. It's time to go racing. We're going to end the year off with the 50th running of the NAPA Fall Final, and Ben Dodge is on the call for all the action.
Well, we are in the midst of our scuff session for qualifying. Marcello Rafano moved to the top of the charts, and he currently is the number one car to beat, car number 48. Matt Hirschman is second fastest. Matty Galco in the 3 Connecticut is third fastest. Ronnie Silk is fourth, and Teddy Hodgson currently rounds out the top 5. Then Kyle Rickey, 6th through 10th position currently. Looks like what?
Yeah, part of a full field of cars here. Ronnie Williams in the 6th spot. Tyler Hines is 7th. Stephen Kopsic, who we just heard from a moment ago in our preview, in the 8th spot here in the scuff session. Jake Johnson, who we also just heard from on the preview, is 9th. And Matt Swanson, who we also heard from, is currently rounding out the top 10.
Currently in the 11th spot is Craig Lutz. Chris Pastriak is in the 12th position. Eric Goodale is 13th. George Bissett is 14th. Joey Cipriano, car 51, is 15th to round out the top 15. 16th through 20th, Kyle?
Yeah, back half of the field, you have R.J. Marcotte in 16th, Woody Pitcat in 17th, David Root 18th, Anthony Flannery 19th, and Anthony Bello completing the top 20 as our final session now just completed their time and have hit the pit lane. So all 36 cars, I believe, that were scheduled to take time have now done so.
They certainly have. And we go back to the charts, rounding out after Brian Narducci. It is Joey Muchacharo, 22nd. Max Zackham is 23rd. Tommy Barrett, 24th. Noah Corner is 25th. Michael Christopher in the 00 is 26th. Mikey Flynn is 27th. Brett Meservey is 28th. 29th position is Jeffrey Battle, and in 30th position is Nick Holkowitz.
And then we have Glenn Reen in 31st, Buddy Charette 32nd, Eric Burnt 33rd, Kirk Alexander, that is, in 34th, William Lambros and Ryan Doucette rounding out the 36 cars that have taken time as we get set for the 50th running of the NAPA Fall Final here later this afternoon. A big thanks to everybody for coming out. And Ben, when we announced the postponement about a month ago because of rain, everyone said it was going to be freezing cold. You were going to have to get the heavy jackets out and the hats because it was going to be so cold today. They were wrong.
They certainly were wrong, and we are in for an incredible day of racing. One thing we learned as Kyle and myself and Dave Barabalt were out and about in the paddock area is the competitors are saying, you have to understand one thing. We haven't run under these conditions since way, way back for the running of the greatest race in the spring.
Sizzler, yeah.
And it was an afternoon event. Maybe the conditions were very similar today. Nobody seems to know exactly what the deal is, how to set up for this. And when you look down at the scuff session, you can see exactly what we're talking about. Some of the heavy favorites that we've known in the past here at Stafford have struggled a bit in time here today. So it's going to be an interesting day, to say the least. And, of course, There is some big money on the line, all part of the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series. And, of course, Monaco Ford is the official sponsor and sponsors the safety vehicles here at the Stafford Speedway. They have 2 Connecticut locations, one in Glastonbury and the second in Niantic, Connecticut. The Monaco family has half a century, rich in history. They love modified racing, and they are big supporters and always have been. If you're looking for a newer used vehicle, check them out at Monaco Ford. The big story today, Kyle, Ricky, not $10,000 to win. That's chump change. Guess how much?
About $15,000 to win here
Yes.
later on this afternoon for these Monaco Modified Tri-Track competitors in their final event of the season. Matt Hirschman, the championship point leader, coming off a win last Sunday night at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl, looking for his 8th Monaco Modified title, has a 29-point lead over Matt Swanson. Ronnie Williams, 3rd in the championship standings, 31 back. Then it's Woody Pitcat and Jake Johnson, the top 5 in what has been a very competitive year. In fact, Matt, the only repeat winner in the first 5 events, and that repeat victory coming just 6 days ago.
That's right. And just out of the top 5, Chris Pastriak in the 6th spot. Brian Narducci is 7th. David Arute is 8th. Kyle Bonsignor is 9th. And Chase Dowling, who is no longer racing, his race team was sold this past week. He was in the 10th position, so that'll bump somebody else up in the order for the conclusion of this event. We also want to mention that the awards today for the Tri-Track portion of the program are provided, and they are some of the most beautiful and unique awards that you will find anywhere, by the good folks at Sign Pro. For over 30 years, Pete and his qualified staff, he's been a big supporter, one of the nicest guys in racing. He has been a proud part of it. The Sign Pro location is located in Plantsville, Connecticut, but services client locally and nationally. Among their representation include Pepsi Cola, Amazon, FedEx, Dunkin', Ray-Ban, Disney, Walgreens, Tesla, and the list goes on and on. We appreciate the support of these fine folks. SignProUSA.com. And, of course, we are also proud to have in attendance with us is as well as part of the prestige and the honor, the Fantasy Racing League, powered by My Race Pass app. And we want you and encourage you, the fans in the stands, to participate. Download the My Race Pass app, register, and play right along with us.
And you got to get your picks in before the heat races start.
Very important to make sure that you get that in and get that done. So those are some of the stories. And, of course, this is all brought to you in part by the good folks at NAPA, your local NAPA Auto Parts stores, where get up and go is more than a statement. It's how, why that NAPA. Look for the blue and gold wherever you go. They welcome the race fans, and they have some tremendous prices and the knowledge that will make a huge difference in getting your car and everything back in top form. Mileage is key, of course, as we all know. A lot of different stories, Kyle, that you were researching in the paddock area. I think one of the unique stories we talked about, Meg Fuller, moving up to a division that she referred to as more powerful, step on the gas, go, put you back into the seat. That's a great story, and she is long overdue. We have so many talented female drivers here at Stafford. A real credit to the Arute family and a credit to the race program that is a proud part of the history of short track racing in the Northeast. In addition to that, Kyle, I know you love Monday night racing here at the racetrack. And, of course, we'll be talking in a few minutes. But right now, our attention is going to shift to our SK Light qualifiers.
We're going to jump right into it here as heat race number 1 is rolling onto the racetrack. Good field, just under 30. SK Lights on tap here this afternoon. Let's jump into the starting lineup of this opening qualifying event.
Well, car number 67 will be starting at the point. That is Dean Lampro from Northport, New York, in the Metro Garage Doors car.
And to the outside of the front row, car number 1 from right here in Stafford, Connecticut, the Wicked Power Sports entry for Bob Charland.
This young lady is raising awareness for a great cause, trying to collect some stuffed animals for Toys for Tots. The Arizona Roofing Machine from Walcott, Connecticut, car 21 for the talented Sammy Anderson.
Outside row 2, car number 3 from Ellington, Connecticut, Lincoln Tech providing the sponsorship for Steve Midford.
Then it's the Ferrari Lawn and Landscaping car from Windsor Locks, Connecticut for Casey Vogue.
Outside of row number 3, it's the 09 from Westbrook, Connecticut, the Foxwoods Resort Casino sponsored car for Cassandra Cole.
Connecticut Bounce House brings us the David Webb-owned car from Newtown, Connecticut, car number 28 for Zach Eskler.
And his outside car number 51 from Norwich, Connecticut, the SAB Tree Experts entry for Matt Brewer.
5 rows back, starting position number 9, the Ravens Motorsports Machine. From Longmeadow, Massachusetts, it is Michael Raven.
And then to the outside car number 18, a championship winning car with a brand new driver behind the wheel. From Westbrook, Connecticut, it is Karsten Cole making his debut here today and finds himself in the same qualifying event as his sister, Cassandra.
So that's the story. This is round number 1. Welcome to our house, better known as Team Stafford. Welcome to the show. We are ready to get them fired up for the first of the qualifying rounds. In 2023, if we had to pick a division, Mr. Ricky, that shined, had the biggest car count, some of the closest, most competitive competition ever, it would be the division that you're looking at, just a small piece of, that is currently on the racetrack.
Averaged about 35 cars all year. Had one night where there were 42 in attendance, and unfortunately not everybody made the feature on that evening. This is an invitational event, and the invite is simple for drivers that have yet to win a race here this season. So drivers that you will not see in the feature today: Brian Sullivan, George Bissett Jr., Tyler Chapman, Chris Matthews, Tyler Berry, and Megan Fuller. They are the 6 winners this year for the SK Light Modifieds and not eligible to compete in this non-points event, but that's why we're seeing them in other divisions here later today, like Meg Fuller, who's going to run the SK.
And you know, it's so important because for some of these competitors, it is their time to shine. It's their opportunity to be and put one up on the board as a big winner in 2023. A lot of talk in the paddock. A lot of the teams were saying that this is the kind of day that everybody is going to give it their all. Nobody's going to hold anything back. For these competitors, the points don't mean a great deal. Moving now to the outside of the front row, Bob Charland, the Wicked Power Sports Machine. Bob Charland previously was a part of the Chassis Pro stable, and then he decided he's making some changes for this last event. There was not a lot on the line for him, and Jimmy Fuller has taken over the ranks of being in charge of this race car with his son, and I think that's the first time we've seen his son actively involved, handling Dad's stuff in the paddock area as well.
Here they come off of turn 4. Heat race number 1 on the afternoon for the SK Light Modifieds is down for a start with Lambros. That is Dean Lambros behind the wheel for the first time, leading the field into turn number 1 with Sammy Anderson trying to take the second spot away from Bob Charland.
Sammy Anderson guards the inside lane directly behind her, making his presence known as Askler. Like the point of the arrow, Dean Lambros leads him, but not for long. Here comes Sammy Anderson. Bottom shot move. Tight to the inside, up the hill, now challenging. It is Lambros, but the story is a little further back. Remember, how many cars to make the transfer, Kyle? 5 is the magic number, and 5th is the hot spot on the racetrack.
And the sibling Coles are side by side for position just outside of the top 5, and Karsten right now has it wound up in that second lane. Gets a bit too high going into turn number 1 and allows Cassandra room back to the inside to retake that position. That is 6th and 7th on the speedway as Sammy Anderson leads off of turn number 4 in car number 21 over Dean Lambros. Zach Asklar, Bob Charland, the front 4.
Well, meanwhile, it is Askler who took a peek to the inside of Dean Lambro. Lambro doing a great job in his first full outing here behind the wheel of that particular race car. Behind him, Askler is sideways. Car number 28 goes spinning like a top off turn number 4, and now he gets it fired back up. No caution, no foul. Good deal by Askler. He loses a lot of ground, but he shows he is a class act. But speaking of class acts, back up front, all of a sudden, Dean Lambros, who is the quickest car on the racetrack, Kyle, he's reeling in on the back bumper of Sammy Anderson.
Has closed in on the 21 of Anderson for the race lead. Lambros in second, now within a car length or so. Then it's a bit of a gap back to Bob Charland in third, and he also has his hands full with Casey Vogt, Cassandra Cole, and Karsten Cole right now in the 6th spot.
2 circuits remaining. That's 1 mile left in the competition here. Sammy Anderson running on rails at the front of the field. Different strategy for Dean Lambros. He backed out of it, went a little bit slower into the turn, then got on the throttle quicker. Back to the line they come. White flag is out. 1 lap to go.
2 drivers racing for the win. Sammy Anderson and Dean Lambros off of turn 2. Will Lambros make a move up the back straightaway? Time will tell as they race for the checkered flag.
They come off turn number 4. Sammy Anderson is dialed in and hot today. She will take down the first qualifying run. Dean Lambros, great run for him, will finish in second. Bob Charland to finish in third. Casey Vogt will finish among the top 4. And position number 5 goes to Cassandra Cole. Kyle, the 4 cars that don't make it among that handicap are
Karsten Cole in 6th, Matt Brewer in 7th, Zach Asklar in 8th, and Brady Parolo rounding out the top 9 here in our first qualifying event, won by Sammy Anderson.
Well, coming up next will be the second qualifying round for the SK Lights. Story is 8 laps. Number of cars to transfer is 5. Car number 87, the Metro Garage Door Machine from East Hartford, Connecticut. One of the crafty veterans, Joey Farino.
To the outside of the front row, car number 74 from Greenville, Massachusetts, the SK Property Maintenance car for Brandon Michael.
Row number 2 to the inside, position number 3. Mayberry Material Handling is the number 70 from East Longmeadow, Massachusetts. It is Wade Gagner.
4th starter, car number 78 from East Haddam, Connecticut, the EB Exterminating car for Eric Burgoyce.
Then we go to car number 44. That will be the My Three Sons Chapman Apartment Homes Casella Waste car from Ellington, Connecticut, Jason Chapman.
6th starter, car number 92 from Nashville, Tennessee, Webb Motorsports to bring us David Webb.
Car number 88 will be starting in the 7th starting spot. That's the John G. Poulin Drywell Machine from Weathersfield, Connecticut, Frank Latois Jr.
The 07 goes out to the outside of row number 4 from Stafford, Connecticut. Another one of the drivers moving up from Monday Night Wild Thing Karting, the Goff Motorsports entry for Austin Goff.
And starting scratch in this qualifying round, the Mike & Sons Property Care Plus car from West Springfield, Mass. It is Brady Parolo, car 05. So there you have it, second qualifying round. If you've just joined us, make sure you check out those souvenir items that are available for the Tri-Track Series, along with your New England Race Fuel Sunoco item. They've got plenty of unique things, including a souvenir program, limited edition shirts and hoodies. They're all available down there. Stop down and check it out. You won't be disappointed. Remember, the holidays and Christmas is just around the corner.
Evan Burgoyce joining the event in car number 78, last car onto the racetrack.
You know, Evan Burgoyce, I watched him at Waterford. I was quite impressed, to be honest with you, with him coming up through the ranks. His dad had been very, very successful over the years. And of course, he hands the torch over to his son, and he's adjusted and done well. That also is a Chassis Pro prepared automobile as well. So they're looking good, shining under the beautiful skies here at Stafford. There's a look at Brandon Michaels, number 74 machine. Kind of appropriate. It's bright yellow and orange like the sun here today. And they passed beneath Casella Waste. They were a big supporter in 2023 here at Stafford, now underneath the Monaco billboard. The official track suppliers of our safety services and the official sponsors of the Monaco Tri-Track Series. Here they come off turn number 4. Round number 2 is green and racing. Here's Kyle Rickey.
Outside lane does not come up to speed, led by Brandon Michael. The inside lane does move as they go to turn number 1 with Farino looking to show the way up the back straightaway, and everybody will single out. Evan Burgoy's going to try to get in the line behind Goff in turn number 3. Those two are side by side for position number 4 as they come around to complete lap 1.
The big mover in the shaker seems to be car number 78 for Evan Burgoy. He's up to the 4th spot. Black and red machine. Now reeling in on the back bumper of Brandon Michaels. Orange and yellow, number 78 car. Good run for Wade Gagner setting in second. He tries to guard the spot with the Mayberry car. Here comes Brandon Michaels. Bottom of turn 1. Doesn't happen there.
What was only supposed to be a handful of races this year for Wade Gagner has turned out to be just about every week here in 2023, including today. Currently in the 2nd spot, losing touch with race leader Joey Farino, and has his hands full with Evan Burgoy's. Brandon Michael also in the mix, along with David Webb running in the 5th spot.
David Webb, they say he comes from Nashville, Tennessee, the location of Music USA, but he's making some tunes of his own as he is contending for that final transfer position. Brandon Michaels' car does a little shimmy step coming off the turn. He gathers at my rack, and here comes Webb up to the 3rd spot. Car 92 is looking at the back bumper of Burgoy's. Once he's there, Kyle, he's got big motor as he can reel him in almost like he's toying with him.
Had a peek to the inside, but couldn't make a move as of yet going into 3. We'll see what he can do here on the front straightaway as they battle for 2nd and 3rd. 3 car lengths behind Joey Farino, the race leader. Evan Burgoy's in the 78, then it's David Webb. Both have been able to pull away from Michael in 4th as the battle is for 2nd.
Here comes Webb. He tries to challenge Burgoy's. They're wheel to wheel. They come rumbling off the turn at the line. It's a squeaker, but David Webb had it by a chrome horn. Webb is in 2nd. Farino's commanding lead. Going, almost gone. Joey Farino was out in front so far at one point, it looked like nobody would be able to catch him, but David Webb has caught him. Apparently Farino's car has developed some kind of a problem.
Yeah, he's off the pace and nearly took out the 74. Brandon Michael trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack. Still has a lot of pressure to the inside now from Evan Burgoy's for 3rd as we are into the final lap, coming to the checkered flag with Webb out front.
Here he comes off turn number 4. David Webb has done it. He'll take down the win. Great run for Brandon Michaels. Evan Burgoy's to finish in the 3rd spot. Joey Farino, Kyle called it. He had a problem. He was out in front. So far out in front, he looked like he was going to be unstoppable. Mechanical woes, but he was able to hold on for 4th. Wade Gagner for 5. 3 cars were not able to be among those preferred spots.
They were Austin Goff, Anthony Farino, and Mike Parolo finishing 6th, 7th, and 8th in heat race number 2.
Well, the 3rd qualifying round will be the same. 8 laps, 5 cars to transfer, and it'll be car number 55, the Akari Motor Sales Machine from Somers, Connecticut, for Paul Akari.
To the outside of row number 1, car number 42 from New Hartford, Connecticut, the Joining Technologies car for Stephen Kologiannis.
Rich Vassar, Dickie V's Landscaping Special will be starting next. Car number 11, a standout in go-karts wherever he runs, from East Windsor, Connecticut, Tim Sullivan.
To the outside of row number 2, car number 35 from Ashford, Connecticut, the Tolland County Foundation replacement entry for Josh Morrison.
3 rows back on the inside, car 77, Brian Bagnell Construction. From Norfolk, Connecticut, Chris Bagnell.
6 starter, car number 76 from Ellington, Connecticut, the Constantine Paving and Sealing car for Ron Midford Jr.
Car number 8 was involved in an altercation in practice. The Degata Racing Machine from Willington, Connecticut for Aiden Degata.
Then it's going to be the number 4 from Mooresville, North Carolina, the Keith Rocco Racing car for Luke Baldwin.
And starting at the rear of the field, it is Mike Flanning with the number 63 car making his debut, picking up at the rear of the field in this one. For those of you keeping track, this is, of course, our 3rd qualifying round for the SK Lights. Following the conclusion of this, we will move quickly right along to the running of course, the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series. 37 of the top cars assembled in the paddock area under the direction of the founder of the series, Wayne Darling, and with him, Ed Bennett, and of course, the First Lady of Modified Racing, Renee Dupuy, Frank Scaballo Jr. and Chris Scaballo in charge at race control.
Car number 4, we want to mention Nick Hovey behind the wheel of the 4 car here this afternoon here in this qualifying event.
And Nick, of course, has had some extremely good runs in this class during the course of the year. Here they come. Green flag is out. Michael Flambia at the rear of the field, just trying to get the bugs out of his car. Down the back straightaway, pretty much side by side. It is a duel at the point. Akari trying to dig hard on the bottom of the racetrack. Will he make it, Kyle, as they work their magic back to the line?
The answer is no. At least he won't hang on to the top spot. Stephen Clogianis goes to the front using the outside lane. These are momentum race cars for the SK Lights, and a lot of the momentum here on this speedway is in that second groove where the 42 is now, but here comes Akari battling back to the inside.
Here comes Tim Sullivan trying to guard the inside lane, 3 wide. They come off the turn. The meat and the sandwich is the competitive edge coating car. But all of a sudden, car number 4, Nicholas Hovey, shows what we were talking about before they went to green. Hovey sees daylight on the inside. 2 by 2 by 2. They come off turn 4.
Nicholas Hovey, like a rocket, right to the front of the field, outside of the top 3 a lap ago. Made some bold moves up the backstretch to take the lead and pull away already by some 6 or 7 car lengths from a good race from second on back. Tim Sullivan in the 11. Looking to the inside of Cologianis.
Oh, trouble now. Oh! Hard hit to the outside wall.
That might be Morrison.
And it appeared, yes, it is Morrison's car.
And the 76 of Midford.
Those 2 cars got literally locked together. One car was airborne, headed directly for, you can see the black mark on the wall and the safer barrier, but what a high and solid hit. But you can see the driver getting out of the car. There he is waving to the fans, and the fans responding in a positive, good way, because that was an airborne power hit. There's no question. One that we don't like to see, and we certainly don't want to see anybody hurt. And there's our second driver out of the car. Let's give him a nice round of applause as well.
That is Rod Midford. That has climbed out and is walking down the banking. 2 big hits up in turn number 4. And what has been a tough rookie season for Josh Morrison in car number 35.
Josh, of course, showed some moments, though, that he was very strong, but unfortunately, he had a lot of bad luck to come into play. Medford, of course, a police officer by trade, a graduate from Monday Night Karts, had tremendous success there, competed in the Atlantic City TQ Midgets program. And so a lot of history as a lot of these competitors are working their way and coming up through the ranks. There is no question about that.
Ron's son, Ryan, currently competing in Wild Thing Karts on Monday nights as well.
That's right.
And that's where Josh Morrison came from a year ago.
It sure
Senior
was.
Outlaws, and made his way up to the SK Lights this year. Has been a tough season, though, for that team.
And it appears that we've had a chance to talk to Morrison before today, and he's looking to purchase another new car. And, of course, that will be for the 2024 season. Replay. Keep your eyes on the second row. Inside, gets out of shape, comes up.
Yeah, Midford got out of shape, yes, and the car snapped back to the right, and unfortunately Morrison was there.
Yeah, here's another look at it. Look to the inside of the second row, and you'll see there it is right there. Then it snaps back. When he does, no place to go, and he goes up the hill, hits at the top of the wall. Big smudge there, and that is not good for him and that race team. A heartbreaker for both of them.
35 makes a move to the outside of the 76 when the 76 got sideways, and unfortunately the 35 was there to the outside when the 76 snapped back and sent the 35 of Morrison hard into the outside safer barrier in turn number 4. Thankfully, both drivers have climbed out. Take just a couple of moments to clean things up before we resume this third and final qualifying event for the SK Light Modifieds. The Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series qualifying heat races are coming up next.
They sure are, and there is some extra incentives on the line. The qualifying heats are sponsored. The first qualifying heat for them will be sponsored by Belltown Motors and Tire Service Centers. They, of course, located in East Hampton, Connecticut. Fowler Auto Wrecking will be the presenter of the second qualifier for the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series from East Hampton, Connecticut. And the third qualifier heat will be brought to you by Belltown Recycling, located in East Hampton, Connecticut. So the top 5, of course, as we're telling you, in each of the 4 heats will qualify for the feature event. And then we'll be taking 4 additional cars from 2 consi. There will be a redraw, and when that redraw takes place, it will determine the starting lineup for this afternoon's big event. So as the field is stopped underneath the Napa Auto Care billboard, please remember this, that Napa is the official sponsor for the Fall Final. Down trackside, Dave Barabal. What have you got, pal?
Yeah, I'm down here with Josh Morrison. And Josh, can you tell us what took place from your vantage point coming off turn number 4?
Well, we were all kind of getting loose through 1 and 2, and then down in 3 and 4. 76 got loose, and I should have seen it coming. Shouldn't have gone top, and I chose top side and ended up in the rope wall, but that's okay. We'll try and get this car going again. But I got to thank everybody that's on this car, Talon County Foundation Replacement, Advanced Orthopedics, my father, my mom, my brother. He's working today. Unfortunately, can't be here, but and everybody else that helps out, Braden. I'm very sorry to see that Aiden wrecked in the practice, but that's racing, and now we're in a racing deal too. So out early in the seat race.
Guys, that's the words of Josh Morrison. I'm going to throw it down to Connor Sullivan, who's down in turn 1 with the other driver.
Yeah, I got Ron Midford here. It looked like the car got away from you in turn 3.
Yeah, it hasn't been our year. I just got to thank all my sponsors, Constantine Paving and Sealing, Bowles Motors, Korea Excavators, Car Care Car Star, all my guys that helped out. We wrecked the car pretty bad a couple weeks ago, and everyone worked their tail off. My Uncle Tom was nice enough to give us that car. He had laying around, and we were second quick today in practice, so it's definitely disappointing not to make the feature. But so I thank all my guys, Keith Rocco, and we'll be back next year.
Wrecked the car a couple of weeks ago, like he mentioned, but then came back on the final Friday night to finish in the top 10, scoring a 9th place effort a couple of weeks back on our final points race of the season for Ron Midford, the Ellington, Connecticut driver, in that 76. And Morrison mentioned a moment ago Aiden DeGata, who races here on Monday nights, that Wild Thing Kart family, and that's exactly what it is. It's a big family here on Monday nights, and when everybody moves up into Friday night racing, and seemingly most of them seem to in one of our 5 divisions, everybody pays attention. And Josh was watching Aiden in practice earlier today when he got into the outside wall over in turn number 2. And now, unfortunately, Josh has an incident here. Hopefully we can get some of those cars back for the feature event later this afternoon.
Let's hope so, because you can tell the disappointment in their interview on pit road, but they'll never give up, and that's what it takes. Meanwhile, Tim Sullivan's Rich Vassar race car, the competitive edge coating Vassar landscaping car, gets fired back up. Tim Sullivan, as we said, the older brother of Brian Sullivan. He competed years back at the Thompson Speedway for a full year, then went back to karting. His son Jace, the last time that they raced the kart race, Dad won, and Jace said, if Dad can do it, so can I. So they both secured a victory, and Jace was all pumped up and excited because he's watching Dad do something that he has never seen him do live. And this is the first time for Timmy in a long time to sit behind the wheel of that race car. So work still continues. The Monaco Ford track crew making sure everything is ideal. It's never a good situation when you see hammock style, front and rear picking up, and the car being brought back to the center of the infield. Heartbreaker for Midford and company. If you've just joined us, we're in the midst of qualifying. This is the third qualifying round for our SK Light division. Coming up next is the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series qualifying events. And we will be looking at 4 qualifying events, 10 laps, 5 cars, of course, to be eligible, and part of the draw. 37 cars were assembled in the paddock area. There were originally 46 cars that had entered the event. Jonathan Pulio, one of our regulars here at Stafford, had entered. Mechanical woes the story. Les Hinckley, mechanical woes. Todd Patnode, the number 24 car from Swanson, New Hampshire, former New Hampshire champion. He purchased this past week the Chase Dowling operation, and that took Chase Dowling out of the hunt. Robert Bloxham and Dana DiMatteo were the cars that did not make it here or had a problem if they did show up in practice today. So, Kyle, it looks like they're telling the field to cross over. Nick Hovey, during the course of this season, he just got stronger and better every time out. And I know, Kyle, you've watched Nick a lot over the years, and I think you'll agree. He is a guy to watch as we end 2023 and approach 2024.
Yeah, try to build a little momentum for next year. A driver that has found so much success in the street stocks over the years. That Walt Hovey's been around for a long time, running street stock competition at all the Connecticut racetracks. And nice to see Nick having some success here in the SK Light Modifieds here this season as the field comes off of turn number 4, looking to come back to the green flag and wrap up the final laps of this third and final SK Light qualifying event.
Pretty good start as they rumble down to the bottom of turn number 1. Nick Hovey wastes no time at all. Here comes Tim Sullivan on the inside. Dickie V's number 11 working its magic to the bottom. Tim Sullivan moves into second. Good battle shaping up for the 4th and 5th position, Kyle, as they come back off 4.
Frank Litwell looked to the inside to pick up that 4th position in car number 88, moving around Paul Arcari in car number 55 as they race up the backstretch, singled out, and they are all chasing Nicholas Hovey, who we just talked about a moment ago, picked up right where he left off prior to the caution flag. That is at the front of the field and with a pretty good advantage over Tim Sullivan.
Certainly has, and that continues to be the quickest car on the racetrack. Meanwhile, Paul Arcari, car number 55, is starting to apply the pressure to Frank Latois. They are running in a nose-to-tail battle. Remember, 5 is where you need to be as they come back off turn number 4 and work their magic back to the line.
Back to turn number 2 they go. They have singled out top 2. The battle for 3rd is the best. Stephen Kologiannis, Frank Litwell, and Paul Arcari. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all separated by a car length. White flag is up. 1 lap to go for Nicholas Hovey in car number 4.
1 lap, the final circuit. Who's going to have the bragging rights in this one? Nicholas Hovey has a lot to be proud of as he is pulled away from the opposition here. Tim Sullivan, good run for him in second. Here comes the checker, Nicholas Hovey, to take down the win. Tim Sullivan in for second. Stephen Kologiannis will finish in the 3rd spot. Frank Litwell for 4th, and Paul Arcari for 5.
And out of the top 5, Chris Bagnell in 6th, Mike Flamia in 7th, Ron Midford in 8th, and Josh Morrison after that big hit over in turn number 4 will round out the 9-car field, and that will conclude qualifying heat races for the SK Lights.
And as we've got coming up next, it is the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series qualifying event. Belltown Motors and Tire Service Center providing us with additional sponsorship for heat number 1. They are located in East Hampton, Connecticut. Here they come in just a second onto the racetrack as one group leaves, another group moves in. Kyle?
Heat race number 1 will consist of 9 cars. There are 4 heat races. Great field of cars looking to make the starting lineup. 10 laps will be the distance. The top 5 will qualify directly into the 50th NAPA Fall Final here later this afternoon. Car number 75 CT will bring the field to the green flag. from Moosop, Connecticut. The pole sitter will be Chris Pastriak.
Gentlemen that had a podium run at the Waterford Speed Bowl, the Wannick Construction Car from Newtown, Connecticut. Car number 1 for Stephen Kopsic.
Car number 16 has shown well here at the Speedway over the last 365 days. Won this race a year ago, won the Napa Spring Sizzler, back to start our season in May. Starts third here right now from Norwalk, Connecticut. It's Ron Silk.
Starting fourth on the grid from Riverhead, New York, the Riverhead Building Supply, former standout from the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Goody Motorsports brings us the 58 of Eric Goodale.
Fifth starter, car number 88 from Bellingham, Massachusetts. It's Woody Pitcat.
And then we go into the sixth starting spot. It is car number 3. This gentleman ran up top of the charts for a while today, driving the Bowler number 3 car. It is Brian Narducci, the Florida Connection, Vanetta Narducci, number 3.
Car number 31 will go next in line from Canton, Connecticut. It's Noah Corner.
Then we go to the 19W. That, of course, is the Jamie Weber-owned car. The Middlesex Interiors Bumpy's Auto Service car from Westford, Massachusetts, Jeffrey Battle.
Ninth starter, car number 11, CT, a 22-time winner here at the racetrack over the years, looking for his first in a Monaco Modified from Cromwell, Connecticut. It's Eric Burns.
Here they come, round number 1, the fastest division of the afternoon on Napa Fall Final Saturday. Here at Stafford, the green is out. They thunder to the bottom of turn number 1. Chris Pastriak in a tribute car is the man at the point. Here comes Stephen Kopsic, car number 1, looking to take car number 1 to position number 1. Outside lane, shuffled back, 2 spots, 1 car. What do we got, Kyle? Back to the stripe.
Woody Pitcat in the 4th spot, trying to fend off Eric Goodale in 5th. That is going to be Chris Pastriak at the point in the 75 over Kopsic in 2nd, Silk in 3rd, beginning to reel those 2 in and unable to break away from Woody Pitcat.
Well, it is Silk just a couple of days ago celebrating becoming a champion of champions again on the Wheel and Modified Tour. Here comes Stephen Kopsic, bold move to the bottom. Remember, Kopsic cut his teeth here at Stafford in the SK division and the SK Lights. He was a former SK Light champion as well. Inside, can't do it. Puts the hammer down. It is the Wannick Construction Car, but not enough giddy up to get the job done. But the car that is rising to the front of the field, it looks like Woody Pitcat has found something, and it's starting to work.
Trying to make a move for that 4th spot. Woody Pitcat in that position, trying to hold off Eric Goodale in 5th, Corner in 6th. Nobody stepping out of line. The 3 a bit off the pace for Brian Narducci, losing touch with the top 6. And you have Eric Burnt on the pit lane in car number 11.
They rumble back off turn number 4 and work their magic. Stepping out of line for a second was the number 16 machine of Ronnie Silk. Remember, Kopsic used to prepare a car for Ronnie Silk to compete in this series. And then they decided to bring, well, the car that is prepared by Phil Moran back to the half mile. Running in the runner-up position is still Stephen Kopsic. He is not giving up an inch on this racetrack.
Singled out up the back straightaway. It continues to be Pastriak leading the way. No change for a second yet. Here comes Silk, looking to set something up on Stephen Kopsic to make a move, but Kopsic hangs on to that spot in car number 1. Silk in 2nd. They've been able to drive away a bit from Woody Pitcat, Eric Goodale, and Noah Corner, who went way high off of turn number 2. Lost a little bit of ground, coming to 2 to go.
Here they come back off turn number 4. Popsicle sticks are waving in the air. 1 mile left in the competition, and Chris Pastriak seems to have the field covered. That's not the story for position 4 and 5. Woody Pitcat and Eric Goodale, both athletes, both are in the sports, but right now they are running for the 4th and 5th transfer spot. 1 lap to go.
Chris Pastriak has taken the white flag as the race leader, already onto the back straightaway here in this final circuit. Kopsic in 2nd, Ronnie Silk in 3rd. That's the way they run off of turn number 4. Checkered flag is out, and it's going to be Chris Pastriak taking the win in the opening qualifying event here for the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series.
Of course, and that is an event that was sponsored by Belltown Motors and Tire Service Center in East Hampton, Connecticut.
Noah Corner spinning off the final corner, coming to the line, and that car will come to a stop here just at the start-finish line in the infield. So a tough break for the driver of car number 31.
Sure was. Chris Pastriak was the winner. Stephen Kopsic was second. Ronnie Silk was third. Woody Pitkat was fourth. And Eric Goodale rounded out the top 5. 6 through the 8th position, or the 9th position, was Kyle.
Brian Narducci in 6th. Jeffrey Battle in 7th. Noah Corner in 8th. And Eric Byrne, who pulled onto the pit lane just a lap shy of halfway, will finish in 9th as we check in on the pit lane.
Well, to give you an update on Eric Byrne, he told me that they were fighting a problem with that car all the way through practice. Felt it was best to kind of bring it down on pit road, not injure it any more than he can. Get that back into the paddock area, hopefully work on it. But he has a long road to hoe, kind of go through the Conti to make the fall final.
He sure does. And of course, the voice that you were just listening to is Dave Barabalt, covering the action with Connor Sullivan on pit road. Fowler Auto Wrecking brings us the second qualifying round from East Hampton, Connecticut. At the point, back behind the wheel of the number 46, the Goodies Motorsports car from Middle Island, New York. Russell Goodale owns the car for Craig Lutz.
And to the outside of the front row from New Haven, Connecticut, as we get a look at a replay to see what exactly happened to Corner a moment ago off of turn 4. Starting in the second spot, the 99 from North Haven, Connecticut. That is going to be Tyler Hines, a former multi-time winner here at the Speedway in SK and SK Light Modifieds.
Stas Bitova prepares the car. This car was among the quickest, the top of the charts in practice today. From Meriden, Connecticut, car number 3, Connecticut, Matty Galco.
Four-starter car number 39, this year's track champion in the SK Light Modifieds from Danbury, Connecticut. It's George Bissett Jr.
The car that is themed to Halloween for the kids, young and old alike, is the Monaco Ford number 75 from Stafford Springs, Connecticut, David Aruch.
Car number 47 will go from the outside of row number 3 from Wolcott, Connecticut. It's Joey Muchacharo.
In the 7th starting spot, it's the Jim Page Plumbing and Heating car. Steve LeMay prepares the car from Wolcott, Connecticut. It is Michael Christopher Jr.
Starting in 8th, looking to make his series debut in the NAPA Fall Final here later today from Shelton, Connecticut, the 08 for Nick Halkowitz.
The 2023 MRS Series champion from Swanson, New Hampshire, the Bill Septic Alexander Sheet Metal DA Brothers Norm Perry-owned car. It is Kirk Alexander, car number 76. For those of you that are tuning in and watching, we're in the midst of the second qualifying round for the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series. Plenty of souvenir items available down in the midway to celebrate New England Racing Fuels and, of course, to celebrate the Monaco Tri-Track Series. Get those souvenirs. There's programs. There's all types of limited edition stuff. Right now, it's limited edition action for more of the best in round number 2.
A little out of shape there on the front row with Craig Lutz leading the field into turn number 1. He'll hang on to the top spot, but here comes Matt Galco, building a run off of turn 2 and up the back straightaway to become the new race leader by the time they get to 3. And now the second place car goes spinning.
Craig Lutz's car spun like a top right in the middle of all of that. It appeared that the back end just snapped around.
He might have had a little help from the 99 of Hines.
Well, we'll take a look at it and see if we can figure it out from our vantage point. Craig Lutz, kind of an interesting story because back a month or so ago, the Goodale family were shopping for a driver for this car. And you remember, if you're an avid race fan, that Craig Lutz had tremendous success. So did Woody Pitkat, driving for this team in combination. And there was a whole list of superstar drivers that smelt the blood. And what I mean smelt the blood, what I meant was an opportunity to drive one of the top cars in modified racing. And when it all came down, it came down to Lutz being back behind the seat. And you were right, Kyle Rickey. Guess what? Tyler Hines, car number 99, he has been told to drop to the rear of the field.
He'll slide to the back. We do want to make a mention as we'll take a look at a replay to see what happened up in turn number 3. Woody Pitkat on the pole for today's Napa Auto Parts Fall Final as we get a look at a replay to see what happened. Remember, Woody won the Lincoln Tech Open 80. That was a front row qualifier. And if Woody won the race, which he did.
He did, and he qualified.
And he qualified into today's feature through the heat, which he did in heat race number 1. He was guaranteed the pole. Glenn Reen, now if he can qualify in through his heat race here coming up in a little bit, will be the outside pole sitter based on his second place finish in the Lincoln Tech Open 80 back in August. Glenn is starting 8th in the next heat race.
So he's got a ways to go,
yes, indeed.
But it could come into play. Incidentally, the 99 car that is currently driven by Tyler Hines won the Oxford 250 weekend MRS race. Richard Savory said he wanted to win for his son, and when he did, he would retire, and he did exactly that. Right now, no retirement plan into play because up front and pulling away down the back straightaway, Matty Galco, showing it was no fluke, Kyle, that he was on the top of the charts with Marcello Rafano for most of practice. Loose off turn number 4, David Arute. Here comes Michael Christopher in Jimmy Page's 00, trying to get a bite on the outside. Back up front, bid for second.
Here they come, back into turn number 3. Battle for second is best on the speedway. Bissett will take that position away when they cross the line with Lucicharo in 3rd. David Arute slides back in the line in 4th, and then they get at it for the 5th spot between Craig Lutz and Mike Christopher Jr. right now, who is caught topside.
Meanwhile, it is Tyler Hines, car number 99. He's trying to get into one of those transfer positions of 5. Currently, he is in the 7th position. Now, that doesn't sound good, but he still has a good shot at this. Speaking of having a shot at it, here comes Joey Mucciacciaro working over George Bissett. Bissett still in 2nd. Look at that side-by-side battle just out of the top 6.
Good run for Mucciacciaro right now in position number 3, just in front of David Arute in the 75, just behind George Bissett Jr., this year's SK Light champion here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, right now in the runner-up spot, coming down to 5 complete, 5 to go. That is halfway for our race leader, Matt Galco.
The guy that is trying to really apply the pressure was a car that was aggressive, was put back to the rear of the field, and that is the number 99, the Jean-Guy Poulin-Drywell car. For Tyler Hines, setting in 6th, he needs one more position. And it is not going to be easy because the car that's in front of him was the car that he made contact with. Now he slips up the racetrack. Here comes Michael Christopher. Jimmy Page's car, usually a dominant car here at Stafford. The 00 is not in a transfer spot, and we've got one loose a little further back. And that, of course, is the number 08 of Nick Halkowitz, who now is about 3 spots away from the transfer spot.
2 laps to go this time, so Halkowitz beginning to run out of time in 8th, as is Mike Christopher Jr. in position number 6, needing to gain one more, and that one more is Craig Lutz, who is just in front of him off of turn number 2. Lutz a bit loose to the exit of turn 2, allows Christopher to close in from the 6th position off of turn 4. White flag, 1 lap to go from Matt Galco.
Final circuit, Michael Christopher all over Lutz. Lutz's spotters telling him guard that inside lane. Lutz's car is evil. It comes off the turn sideways. Here comes Michael Christopher. Battle is for the final transfer spot in this qualifying event. Off the turn they come. Matty Galco will take down the win. George Bissett for 2nd, Joey Mucciacciaro for 3rd, David Arute for 4th, and that 5th and final transfer, Mr. Ricky, who had it?
Went to Craig Lutz by a car length over Mike Christopher Jr., who did just about everything he possibly could do except turn Craig Lutz on the final lap. Christopher will settle for 6th, Tyler Hines 7th, Nick Halkowitz 8th, Kirk Alexander in 9th as we go to the infields.
And before we go there, just 1 second. Fowler Auto Wrecking was the sponsor of that qualifying heat. Now back to Dave Baraball. Dave?
Well, actually, one of the big stories this week has been a crowded schedule. One of the consequences of the postponement of the NAPA Fall Final. 2 drivers in particular, it's been a very busy week. Brian Narducci and the current Monaco Modified points leader, Matt Hirschman. They competed last Sunday at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl in Monaco Modified competition, and this past Thursday at the Martinsville Speedway. I talked to Matt Hirschman about it in regards to getting the car turned around from Waterford, and they said the big problem was getting the car turned around. It's been all the travel hours. They're starting to feel the burn a little bit, so they're hoping to avoid the mistakes that may come with fatigue.
Connor Sullivan down on pit road. Here comes our third qualifying round. Quickly, it will be the Casella Snowplows. Number 25, the Gary Cazzello car for Matt Swanson.
Former two-time SK Modified champion here at the racetrack will start in the second spot. Car 50 from Lebanon, Connecticut. It's Ronnie Williams.
Current point leader, multiple champion here in this series, the Bristol Toyota Florida Connection Collier Trucking Company car. From Northampton, Pennsylvania, car 60, Matt Hirschman.
The fourth starter picked up his first SK win here at the racetrack earlier this season. The driver of the 5 Massachusetts from Millville, Massachusetts, it's R.J. Marcotte.
In the fifth starting spot, car number 81, the Belltown Motors Fowler's Auto Machine. From East Hampton, Connecticut, it's a Chassis Pro car for Anthony Flannery.
Sixth starter, car number 13 from Prospect, Connecticut, Max Zackham.
Then we go to the number 24 Mass from Hamden, Mass. It is Mikey Flynn, the Pace Motors Valley Heggie Farms machine.
This next driver will earn the outside of the front row if he can qualify into the top 5 from Belchertown, Massachusetts, the 10A for Glenn Reen.
Then we go to car 77, starting scratch from Northport, New York, Skip Barber Racing School's machine for Will Lambrose. That is your field, consisting of 9 cars. Again, the story for this as they rumble off turn number 4. This event is brought to you by Belltown Recycling. 1 car off the pace initially at the rear of the field, Kyle.
That looks like it's Max Zackham in the 13 as the race leaders are already in turn number 3, chasing Matt Swanson in the 25. Swanson picked up his first Monaco Modified win earlier this season at the Seekonk Speedway as the caution flag comes out for the Max Zackham car over in turn number 2.
Max Zackham drove this car at Waterford Speed Bowl, turned some heads. They've had a lot of good drivers. Do you remember Teddy Christopher driving for the famed DePisa brothers? And, of course, other drivers that have sat behind the wheel. Austin Beers, the standout rookie driver on the Wheel and Modified Tour, also drove this car. So it's had a lot of success, and Max Zackham's credentials rank right up there with the best of them.
Coming off a top 10 finish last week, finished in the 8th spot at Waterford on Sunday night.
Heartbreaker there. Apparently something went awry and never got up to speed. He's being assisted and brought back to the center of the infield. Kyle Rickey had the opportunity, and it was in our pre-race preview, to talk to Matty Swanson, and he's pretty happy with his 2023 season, except he wants one more notch on the belt. And you know what it is, Kyle.
Yeah, a win here where he has run so well over the years, has driven in every type of modified here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, and wants to find Napa Victory Lane in a Monaco Modified, part of the 50th NAPA Fall Final here later today. And very confident when we talked to him in the pits earlier today. He's had a good season, currently second in points, the current race leader as they come back to the green flag.
Side by side, it's a rumble at the half mile. On the upper groove, it is Ronnie Williams, the Adam Scavora prepared car. Right there to the inside, Matt Hirschman, guy who's got more titles in this series than anyone in the history of it. They come off turn number 4. Swanson is the leader. Surprise to some, the kid that never smiles, R.J. Marcotte. Car number 5, Massachusetts, up to the 4th position. He's very serious, and he's serious about that 4th spot. But 5th, Kyle, is where the hot spot is.
Battle for the lead as well, right at the front of the field. Matt Hirschman to the inside of Matt Swanson for the top spot. Hirschman, last year's 50th Napa Spring Sizzler winner, looking to win the 50th Napa Fall Final. The current championship leader for the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series assumes the top spot here early on in this qualifying event, moving around Matt Swanson. Then you mentioned that battle from 5th on back. That is led by Mikey Flynn. He's currently in Anthony Flannery, the first car outside looking in, and that changes now off turn 2.
Just as you said it, it all of a sudden changes. Now the crossover, the 24 car, Mikey Flynn tried to dip to the inside. Flannery closed the door, no room at the end that time. Back up front. Here's the story. Meanwhile, big racing. Remember the Glenn Reen story. He had to attempt to qualify. Where's that going to start him, Kyle?
On the front row, if he can move into the top 5, and right now he is far from it.
Trouble. He's down. We haven't said this in so long in Green Acres. But he gathered it back, and he will still be able to start up front if he can continue with 5 of the 10 laps now complete.
Yeah, currently in the 7th spot, so we'll see where that gets him in the feature lineup. Right now, it is a straightaway behind Matt Hirschman, the race leader, who's been able to break away to a fairly healthy advantage over Matt Swanson in 2nd. Finding pressure there from Ronnie Williams, and R.J. Marcotte having a great run here in this qualifying event as Ronnie Williams steps out of line in turn 4. Now Marcotte comes together with Swanson.
Marcotte and Swanson come together, 2 pirouette spins.
That's the break Reen needs.
It is. And it appears that Marcotte will get it fired back up.
So back in August, we held an open modified race here, the Lincoln Tech Open 80.
Yes.
The top 2 finishers would be guaranteed front row spots for today's NAPA Fall Final if they were to qualify in through the heat. That means finish among the top 5. Woody Pitkat did that in an earlier heat race, finished among the top 5, so that gave him the pole. Glenn Reen looking to do that here in this qualifying event. That would give him the outside pole if he can qualify in through the top 5 as we go back to the infield.
Got a report on Max Zackham. He cannot get the car into high gear on the restart, so they're going to be taking a look at the transmission on car number 13 once they can get it back to the paddock area for Max Zackham.
Tough break on her for him. He ran so strong in practice. Now, it's going to be very interesting on this one because even though Glenn Reen is shown, as we look out from Broadcast Central, as your 5th place car. Reason for that, 2 cars involved in the altercation. Those 2 cars are the 25 and the 5. Now we're going to take a look at the replay, Kyle, and we're going to see if we can figure this unique situation out. There they are going into turn number 3.
That's Williams to the inside of Swanson for 2nd, and I think Marcotte's going to try to follow him through and just, well, maybe got into the right rear of Swanson and sent both cars spinning.
Well, they call them rub rails, and you just saw some action rub rail style right there coming off turn number 4. Here they come. Back to the stripe. 7 of 10 are in the record books. You are watching round number 3. Matt Hirschman steps on the gas. Belltown Recycling, the sponsor. Hirschman likes money, and he is out in front and pulling away. Big, big power. But what is the story for Glenn Reen?
He's up to 3rd as they come off of turn 4 with 2 to go. Had a great restart on the inside lane, the lane that advanced, and Reen is up to 3rd, looking good, just in front of Ronnie Williams in 4th.
While Williams was among the quickest cars in practice. Let's see what's going to happen. 5th is currently held down by the number 5 of R.J. Marcotte. 1 lap to go. Marcotte glued to the back bumper of Williams. Williams' car suddenly became evil in turn number 2. Pulls away. Clock is ticking. 5 is where you need to be. Here they come. Checker flag is out and in. This qualifying event brought to you by Belltown Recycling. The winner is Matt Hirschman. Anthony Flattery, great run for 2nd. Glenn Reen, the comeback kid, will finish in 3rd, meaning he will be in the outside of that front row. Ronnie Williams for 4th, and who's going to be in position number 5?
Mikey Flynn will round out the top 5. Then it was R.J. Marcotte outside of the front 5 in 6, having to try to work his way in through the consi, along with Matt Swanson, and Max Zackham's car never came up to speed, not completing a lap, finished in 8th. A big thanks to all those watching us on Facebook Live and on our live feed on YouTube. Tune us over now to FloRacing.com for the remainder of the event here, part of the 50th NAPA